Dariq Whitehead is going to leave Duke, declare for the NBA draft. This comes on the heels of an earlier NBA draft news story from Jonathan Giovanni from Draft Express that Terquavion Smith's made it official. He posted it last night that he's going to thank his time for NC State. He's off to the NBA. Whitehead is in the same boat. And I know what people are thinking. They're like, well, what did we see from Dariq Whitehead this season with the injuries and the roles and everything else that sometimes this is just the arrangement, You play 1 year of college, help elevate your profile a little bit, see how far you can take it, and then you're out. I expect the same thing with Duke and Dereck Lively. These are not surprises. Tyrese Proctor makes sense. We'll see. I mean, Kyle Filipowski, I haven't seen anything official from Kyle Filipowski other than that he retweeted Tyrese Proctor with like a yeah baby and some emojis. That would lead me to believe that Filipowski's coming back. That would lead me to believe that.
Makes sense.
But Whitehead and Lively also makes sense that they would go to the NBA after one season. That always seemed to be the plan, and they're just executing that plan, Joe.
Yeah, it's weird that you said that for a guy who we barely saw.
It
makes sense, right?
Barely saw him.
Because of the way that the NBA works now, your age is actually held against you and used against you.
Yes.
And the more you show scouts, the worse off you are. So, yeah, it does actually make sense because Whitehead's a guy, if he had the ability to come straight to the NBA draft out of high school, would have been top 10 pick, lottery pick. So we'll see how much of that value it diminished and what he can do in workouts. Because I don't think we saw him healthy.
No,
for really any legitimate stretch of this season.
No, not at all. And the workouts are going to be the thing that ultimately move him up the draft board or the idea around Dariq Whitehead. Same with Dereck Lively.
It's an odd draft too. We talked a little bit about this before the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys you see, the stars of these teams, aren't going to be highly drafted players. And that's unusual. It used to be, Sean May just had this great NCAA tournament draft. Oh, look at that. He's in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
It's tale as old as time. It was the guys who performed well in the NCAA tournament were the ones taken at the top of the draft. Well, we've got Victor Wembanyama, the French Mamba, number 1 pick. And then Scoot Henderson, the number 2 pick, is in G League Elite. Amen. I think it's Amen Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And the twins, Amen and Oster Thompson, both played in the G League Elite teams this year. So we've talked about this. This is why the draft's going to look a whole lot different.
It is.
And that's why college basketball is looking a lot different. I know there was a conversation on ESPN, like, why the Blue Bloods? Why are there no Blue Bloods in the Final Four? And it's like, do you not understand the concept that the most talented players are not exactly going to college basketball right now?
No, so the roster makeup is
so
changed.
That doesn't affect San Diego State.
No.
That doesn't affect Miami, although they've gone out and got some really good players.
Yeah.
All of those teams have obviously gone out and gotten good players. But yeah, it affects Kansas. It affects Duke.
Mm-hmm.
It affects Carolina. It affects Kentucky. These are the schools it affects. That's why you don't see them in the Final Four this year.
Roster, I don't like taking big picture views of Final Four results, right?
Or however you want to look at the whole season.
Sure.
Those teams were not running hot really at any point this season.
But I
mean, Duke played well at the end to win the ACC title, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was never like, there's, we always love to use the exception. There's the Zion group. Hey, look, it's Duke.
There are exceptions to the group. I just think by the time we get to the Final Four, the teams that are typically there are there for usually the same reasons, right? Some of these teams are just on a heater, and they've taken advantage of the one-game chaos.
There's probably some bracket luck involved.
And they took advantage of it.
Opportunity,
right?
Take advantage of their own and 99% of the teams that get there have a really good coach.
They do.
That's what college basketball is about. Colton Tudor said it forever, and I'll always say it's the coaching, Joe. It's always the coaching.
Coaching matters, and I think, once again, roster makeup is the thing that ultimately gets you here. And that's going to be the difficulty going forward for so many coaches. And some of the lament that I understand is it's not just about recruiting anymore. It's also finding the right guys in the portal that will end up working. And we talked to Jeff Capel, Pitt head basketball coach, about this on Monday. If you missed that conversation, it's available on the Best of the OG podcast. We have to reassess how we view teams in the regular season and what happens in November and December. I'm not saying they're meaningless. I'm simply saying that some of it you can take with a grain of salt because the teams haven't really been together for a long time. It might take teams a little bit longer to gel, and usually by the mid to late January time period, you'll start to get a sense of who these teams are. And we brought up Duke countless times. We even talked to Jeff Capel about it. The Duke team that they saw twice at Cameron Indoor Stadium and then eventually in January and then in the ACC tournament, that was a completely different team. The team that got blown out by NC State at home was not the same team that NC State saw in Cameron Indoor Stadium to close out the year. So we got to recognize that sort of stuff, right?